Hello, 8th grade. I don't know why it advanced to that slide, so I'm just going to go back for a moment. It's Friday. Happy Friday. Again, this is an assignment probably should not take too much, not be too challenging for you. We're still working with quadratic equations, except we're looking at quadratic equations that have already been factored for us, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. And we're solving them using something called the zero product property. Okay, so I want to take a moment first of all and just talk about what is the zero product property. Okay, and I'm going to pose a couple of questions. So first question, if 10 numbers are being multiplied and the product is 1, okay, you got 10 numbers, you multiply them, and the answer is 1, can you say for certain what any of the numbers are? Okay, I want you to think about that for a moment. I'll wait. Okay, and you probably can think of a lot of numbers that when you multiply them equals 1. Sure, it could be 10 ones, but you could have a half times 2, times a third times 3, times a fourth times 4, times negative a fifth times negative 5, times 19 twentieths times 20 19ths. Okay, so there's an infinite number of combinations of numbers that you can multiply and get a product of 1. So you cannot say for certain what any of those 10 numbers are. Okay, so second question. If 1 million numbers are multiplied and the product is 0, can you say for certain what any of the numbers are? Okay, and I think we probably have mentioned this and talked about this in class before. Okay, so some of you might already be ringing that bell. Yes, if 10 million numbers are, let's go with 10 million. I said 1, but let's go with 10. If 10 million numbers are multiplied and the product is 0, one of the numbers has to be 0. The only way you can get a product of 0 is if one of the numbers are 0. Okay, and that is basically the zero product property. It basically says if the product of A and B is 0, then either A equals 0 or B equals 0, or they both equal 0. Okay, and if we extended that, A times B times C equals 0, then A could equal 0, B could equal 0, C could equal 0. Okay, so it all happens. I need to pause this video for just a moment, and I'll be right back. Okay. All right, that wasn't long for you, but I had to pause. I'm actually filming this on Monday, which is why I'm wearing the same shirt that I wore in yesterday's video, which I filmed just like 15 minutes ago. And there was a question, somebody having a technical issue, so I had to pause the video to address that. But I'm back. So again, the zero product property, again, if you have any group of numbers being multiplied, the product is going to be 0. So let's look at a few examples. It's going to be a relatively quick lesson, I think. And then you have the IXL assignment. So you have this, and I mentioned these are quadratic equations, but I said they've been factored. Notice this has already been factored. It's in 2 binomials. If we had to multiply this out, it'd be like y squared minus 13y plus 42. Okay, so it's already been factored form. It is a quadratic equation because if you expand that out, you do have y squared at the beginning. Well, let me turn my tab on. There we go. You have, in effect, these two terms being multiplied. So that means one of them has to be 0. Now remember, solving an equation is finding all the solutions that make that equation true. Well, what makes this first equation true is if y equals 6, because 6 minus 6 is 0. What makes the second expression equal to 0 would be if y was equal to 7. So your solution of this equation is y equals 6, y equals 7. When you're entering in an IXL, it doesn't matter the order in which you enter those two numbers. But remember, when we talked about yesterday, a quadratic equation can have as many as 2 solutions. And I think all the ones you're going to be dealing with today will have 2 solutions. All right, let's just look at a few more, and we'll go on. Okay, so here 2 numbers being multiplied. Again, you need to sort of think of this as 2 separate numbers being multiplied. One of the numbers is k, and one of the numbers is k plus 7. Well, what makes that first term equal to 0? Well, the only way that first term equals 0 is if k is 0. If you think about it, if k is 0, 0 plus 7 certainly equals 0. What makes the second term equal to 0? Well, k plus 7 is 0, so if subtract 7, k would have to be negative 11. Negative 7, negative 11. That is a cool number, negative 11. I think we'll have to talk about making that number up someday, negative 11. It's negative 7, actually, but we're going to work on negative 11 sometime. All right. Moving on. Let me clear the screen. Go to the next page. Okay. So the instructions do say answers an integer, proper or improper fraction in lowest terms. So you have 4q times 2q plus 9 equals 0. Again, you've got two terms. Well, what makes 4q equals 0? Divide by 4. That means q equals 0. That is one solution. Well, what makes 2q plus 9 equal to 0? Well, if you need to, you can work it out. You can subtract 9 from each side. You 2q equals negative 9. Divide by 2. And yet q equals negative 9 over 2. The instructions do say enters an integer, proper or improper fraction in lowest terms. So your solutions are 0 and negative 9 over 2. That's the improper fraction in lowest terms. So again, it's just solving this equation or term and solving for that term equal to 0. I think I just have one more for you. Okay, so again, two different terms. One of these terms has to be 0. I'm going to change the color just because I'm bored with the blue. So if that term equals 0, 9y plus 8 equals 0. If I subtract 8, I get 9y equals negative 8. Divide by 9, y equals negative 8 ninths. That is one solution. The other solution is when this is equal to 0. If I add 2 to both sides, I get 5y equals 2. Divide by 5, and I get y equals 2/5. So those are my solutions. The instructions say enter as fractions, improper fractions, or integers, so please don't convert those to decimals. And I believe that is it. So the assignment is Algebra 1, BB7. BB7, you know what that means? That means we are really close to doing BB8 for an assignment. Isn't that so exciting? I know it's so exciting, isn't it? It's so exciting. Oh, there he is. Okay, so BB7 today. Have a good weekend. See you Monday. Still stopping the video.